The Tulsa Massacre was a horrible event, where possibly the worst episode of racial violence in the United States happened, and the town of Tulsa, Oklahoma was forever changed. The town of Tulsa, Oklahoma was a town that had a bright future and was assembled to show America what was possible. A town where black Americans had the same opportunities as white Americans. But on May 31st and June 1st, that changed and was never repaired. White supremacy won in Tulsa, and this is the story. It started on Memorial Day weekend 1921. Dick Rowland was taking a break from his shoe shining job to use the bathroom on the top floor of the Drellex building. The only colored bathroom after Jim Crow laws was at the top of the Drellex building. At the same time, Sarah Page was an elevator operator at the Drellex building. Not much is known about what happened during the ride, but Sarah Page accused Dick Rowland of assaulting her in the elevator, and Dick was arrested. After his arrest, there were rumors he was to be lynched. After hearing the news, a group of 75 black men went to the courthouse to protect Rowland. But as they arrived at the courthouse, the sheriff convinced the group that he had everything under control, and they began to leave. Everything was almost fine until an elderly white man approached O.B. Mann, a black man in the group, and demanded he surrender his pistol. But Mann refused, so the white man attempted to disarm him. After this, a gunshot rang out in the streets of Tulsa. This is when Tulsa died. After the gunshot, in the sheriff's own words, all hell broke loose. At the end of the initial exchange, 10 white men and 2 black men lay dead. After this, it is said that the group fled back into the Greenwood district of Tulsa, shooting as they went. Once news spread about the gunfight, more violence erupted. White rioters invaded Greenwood that and into the morning. As the white mob moved through Greenwood, looting, killing, and burning anything, later eyewitnesses also describe aircraft carrying white attackers shooting rifles and throwing firebombs on fleeing families and buildings. It was later learned that the planes took off from nearby Curtis Southwest Air. Finally, on June 1st, the Oklahoma National Guard imposed martial law on the town, ending the massacre. After the massacre, about 10,000 black people were left homeless and about $1.5 million in real estate destroyed, and $750,000 in personal property. Adjusted for 2021, that's about $34 million. And the number of deaths vary wildly, but most of them are around 50 white men dead and 150 to 200 black men dead. It was so bad they were fishing bodies out of the river. No one was charged for starting the massacre. The second part of this video is already up, and it is not that long. By the end of 1922, almost a year and a half later, most of the homes and buildings were rebuilt, but the real estate companies and city refused to compensate them. Unsurprisingly, many of the survivors of the Tulsa Massacre left Tulsa. But the ones who stayed silent about what happened. Later it was omitted from local and national classrooms, and it has been largely left out of history books. Even some books about Tulsa fail to mention the Tulsa Massacre. But it has started to be repaired. In 2020, the decision was made to teach the massacre in schools. Today, Tulsa is healing, and the local community is trying to keep the memory of the massacre alive. Black Wall Street is still there in the historic Greenwood district. The only building still standing from that time is the AME Church, and there still is investigations underway in hopes to find more bodies and to give them the resting place that they deserve.